Hi friends, in this video I have a real treat for you. We're going to do a poetry analysis and a reaction to one of the classic best songs of the 20th century, Moon River, written by Henry Mancini and performed originally by Audrey Hepburn and then performed by hundreds of other famous people, notably Andy Williams, who's noted to have the second best or the best cover. And we're going to look at the poetry and we're going to look at some of the background of this song. But the interesting thing is that if you ask most people, what are your top 5 or top 10 songs of the 20th century, they will say, they will have this song in their list. And the funny thing is, this song only has 10 lines. And it's like under 3 minutes. It's about a minute. It's about 2 minutes and a half, something like that. It's a very short song. It's very dreamy. So let's get into it. Well, there are so many questions. It's very confusing. So there's a mood to the song. You really have to hear the song to get into it. It has a mood that it gives you immediately from the first few notes almost, right? Even before the singing starts, there's a really beautiful opening and there's a mood that it creates, and then it starts like Moon River, wider than a mile. Now, Moon River, what is this river? Nobody knows what is this river when they first hear the song. It's a specific river that's referenced, but is it, because people watch the movie and the movie is set in New York, well, it could be Hudson River. No, that's not the Hudson River. Is it the Moon River, like a Milky Way, something very dreamy? No, it's not that river. It turns out that you would only know what this reference is if you read the interview of this person who wrote it, and you'd be like, well, it's from the south and some river in the south. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, but it's a river. Wider than a mile. Okay, big river. Now the next line, I'm crossing you in style someday. So it's very dreamy. Okay, the mood of the song is really reinforced by the ideas of that it's not happening now, but someday maybe. It's very hopeful. And the next song, oh dream maker, you heartbreaker. And this idea that there's a planting of certain words together with the music. When she goes, dream maker, and then you're like, don't really know exactly what's being discussed, but yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I understand this idea of dream maker is an image. The idea of heartbreaker is an image. So there's a lot of imagery going on here. And when we look at poetry, we look at imagery because it's essentially like painting a picture with words in our mind. Okay? So what do we have? We have a beautiful moon river, perhaps at night, moonlit river. Maybe perhaps it would be more clear if it was a moonlit river. Crossing you in style someday. That would be a little bit even kind of a cooler setting. Dream maker, heartbreaker. And wherever you're going, I'm going your way. And the idea is that even though you may be a heartbreaker, I'm going anyway. And there's this embrace of adventure, embrace of there's something waiting for me. And that's really nice because it plays off with the character in the movie really nicely. And it just all works so well together. And the music is hopeful and you don't know, when you go anywhere, you picture like, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen tomorrow, in a year. You have no idea. This is just in your head, right? You have no idea how it's going to turn out. It's impossible to know. It will be in the future. So this idea of actually trusting it is really romantic. So the adult in us, right? Be like, I don't know what's going to happen. Have we checked off all the check boxes? And is this safe? Is this a good idea? I don't want my heart broken, blah, blah, blah. But the fun person in us is like, yeah, for sure, I'm going. I want that adventure. And I don't think it's the same adventure as, wanderlust. I want to travel to every country. I think it's more that maybe exploring feelings with a person. And then you have this perhaps person appearing on the 5th line, 2 drifters off to see the world. Now, in the movie, there's a romance. The main character meets a guy. In this poem, it's fun because you can drift on the river, and the river can take you wherever you're going. I'm going your way, wherever that is. Or you can just come with the river. The river can be the other drifter. So actually, there's a lot of play on words. In the original, of course, there is a romantic partner. There's a man and a woman, and it could be those two drifters. And at the moment, that woman she hasn't gotten the guy, so she's dreaming about him. So it's a love story, but also it can be kind of cool because what if the river is the other drifter? And it's just an intimate thing to the river. I kind of actually really like the intimacy of that. I think both interpretations really work and really work well. If you're a romantic, you want the romance, great, she has the guy. But actually, if you want even a more tighter knit setting for the song, it's just her in the river kind of having a thing. I think there's a charm in that. And then the line, "There's such a lot of world to see," I guess that's a skippable line. It's not that interesting. I think we're all aware of this. We're after the same rainbow's end. I think that's cool. Where the rainbows end, with the river, and there's a rainbow's end, which you can't see it, but the river will take you. I think that's nice imagery. Waiting around the bend. If you ever been hiking, around the bend, it's like there's another bend, and there's another bend, and you don't know what's around the bend. Nice to just enjoy. Just with the river, I think it's cool, just drifting down the river, dreaming about where you're going. And then the Huckleberry Friend is another very confusing thing about this. What's a Huckleberry Friend? No one has a clue. Huckleberry is a type of berry that grows in the South. And the character, the woman in the movie, she's from the South. So there's that reference, and also there's the kind of reference to Huckleberry Finn, which is again by Mark Twain, who's a writer of the South. So there's all this. Huckleberry Finn from Mark Twain is known for this adventure. And if I'm not so wrong, and my literary memory hasn't aged, I think there's the main story of him going down the river with a friend, and he is in this adventure, right? So I think, please comment actually, for the people who are in the know, I think, and I read this like 20 years ago, so please be kind, but I think there's multiple stories with Huckleberry Finn, but there's one where he's going down the river with a friend, and so here we have this river, the Moon River, and it's kind of like she is the main character is going down this Moon River, so she's kind of like this adventurous character in Mark Twain. The character in Mark Twain necessarily wasn't looking for love, is the adventure kind of thing. The emphasis here is on adventure, and if this wasn't such a dense and impossible to get Huckleberry Friend reference, like I think it's an error here. Like if this person went around the room and said, "I would like feedback on my song," and he asked 20 people would have no clue what he's talking about, and he would have to change this line, but he just didn't do that, I don't think. Comment. Does the mystery of this line add or subtract from the song? I feel like this. It's annoying, okay? Like I would like this line to be more clear, but at the same time, what I really like is that once I understand every line of a song, it loses its mystery, and the song kind of like gets a little old. So in some way, it's good to have one or two lines that are crazy ambiguous. And so in that sense, I like it because it keeps the song always like, this time when I listen to it, I'm going to fully understand what it's talking about. And then, of course, you listen to it and you still don't fully understand what it's talking about. And so this repeats, and it kind of keeps you listening. The only thing I would say is, okay, fine, let's keep this line. It's a good line, but it has to work. Like it has to be legitimately curious. Here, I'm not that curious what's a Huckleberry Friend. I actually just would like to know. So I would like this line to maybe keep its mystery but be better. I would say that if I can. Of course, the person writing this is like gajillion times better writer than I am. So he's like, but it's my video, right? But on the other hand, everything can always be better. So, but anyway, let's move on from this line now that we understand it's a adventure reference to Huckleberry Finn, and the berry grows in the South, and it's all South reference. And then the song ends, Moon River and me. intimacy that's special in the song, because maybe that, yeah, it's great to have a romantic person like the person in the movie. That romance made the movie. The movie wouldn't really make sense without the romantic person, right? But in the song, I think it's more intimate if it's just the river. That's just my personal take. Let me know. Comment in the comments. Great song. I think the dissection of the poetry doesn't do it justice, because the song has a sound that's just otherworldly, and the charm of Audrey Hepburn is just like another otherworldly phenomenon. So I tried my best to explain what the song is about. I'll say it is confusing what the song is about, because the lyrics are confusing, but since we're looking at poetry, we have to look at, does it have good imagery? And this does have great imagery. Where Moon River, it's a mysterious river, maybe it's at night, lit by the moon, there's a rainbow's end somewhere around the bend, and maybe we'll get there, we're drifting, and there's a feel of like, maybe it won't happen, maybe there's hope, maybe it's going to happen. And there's a tiny bit of adventure. It's not too adventurous, but it's a tiny bit, and it's kind of this charming adventure that only Audrey Hepburn can bring. So that should be sort of the end of this, because I will just ramble on otherwise. Having said that, I didn't introduce myself in this video. My name is Alex Kinedinik, and on this channel I have some of my own original music. It's not as good as this, I'm sorry, but I would still love and appreciate it if you can give it a try. In the resources of this video, I'll have the links to my music, to my poetry book, all those things. So, sorry, I'm not Audrey Hepburn, but maybe you can still find some enjoyment in my own music. So please check it out. I'd appreciate if you did, and I'd appreciate if you comment on this video and actually let me know, because there's a lot of mystery and room for opinion here. And also, if you commented and listened to my songs, I would also love that, because I put a ton of work and labor of love into those as well. So thanks for watching, and see you in my next video.